Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so, I think I want to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. I know the Lakers are going to be seeing them tomorrow. I believe the game is at 7 p.m. here in LA. And, they got some bad news on Tyrese Maxey. I guess he hurt his hamstring in the last one and expected to miss a couple of weeks. And, I was listening to a podcast that I discovered from the Philadelphia side of things, and the guy that was on there was talking really negatively about his squad. They really have a bleak outlook over there about what's going on with Paul George just getting back from injury. Joel hasn't played a game this season, and now Maxey just went down. They're 1-6, and they're having a really frustrating start to the season. I had something mistaken, which is another reason why I wanted to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. I mentioned that Joel was suspended for 3 games, and I thought it had something to do with the investigation into him missing games, but it actually was about the shove or the punch or whatever you want to call it that he did against the media guy who wrote something on his brother who had passed. He mentioned him in his excerpt about why he had been missing games. And so whatever the case may be, that suspension is going to cost him 3. And now we're looking at the situation where the team is continuing to hemorrhage losses, rather. They keep on losing games. And, this Tyrese Maxey situation is no good as well. So now it's just Paul George and a bunch of guys running around. Paul George just got back 2 games ago. They don't really know one another. How far away are they from actually contending, even though they've spent an absorbent amount of money on their core? They just paid Tyrese. They just gave Paul George a really, really hefty contract that's going to look horrible by the end of it. So that thing's not moving. And, JoJo's talking about he don't want to play no back-to-backs when he does get back. For the rest of his career, he doesn't want to play any back-to-backs. And they have a lot of those scheduled, particularly in the latter half of the season. So, when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, they're losing games in a way that's alarming, in the sense that, if this continues, they're gonna find themselves outside of the playoff picture for good in regards to this season, with no sign of their big 3 playing together at all. And we saw the Phoenix Suns go through this, where they couldn't get their big 3 on the floor, and of course, people are blaming the coach because they don't like how he's utilizing the rest of the talent. That's what I was hearing in the podcast. They're not happy with Nick Nurse. They're essentially saying he's playing the old guys too much, not playing the young guys enough. How many teams have sung that song? We stand in line, Philadelphia. Everybody's going through that. But at the end of the day, that's kind of the problem from what I was able to gather. And it's going to take a lot for them to overcome what they have going on. Jared McCain looks pretty good, kind of a limited high-level rookie, but he's a high-level rookie, so I'm pretty sure they're going to lean on him a bit more. But it seems like that, him playing the older guys, they're not getting much out of him. Caleb Martin's having a bad start to the season. Kyle Lowry looks done, from what I understand. So, it's just rough. It's rough down there, and, I guess what comes to mind for myself is, I think if this continues the way it's going, and Joel don't want to play no games, they should just tank. I believe they have their own pick for this upcoming season. They're already 1-7. So 1/8 of the problem is already out the way. All they got to do is say this 7 more times, and they'll be in the bottom of the league, ready to capture one of the better players entering a very, very talented draft. This draft that's coming up, it's not like the last one. The last draft, everybody was complaining, didn't have a whole lot of high-level talent. This draft has some really, really high-level talent. We're talking one of the better drafts in recent memory as it pertains to that. Top 12. You get a top 12 pick in this draft, you might have somebody change your franchise around. You get one of the top 2 picks in this draft, and you got a guy whose floor is basically all-star. In either Ace Bailey or Cooper Flagg. Those guys' floor is all-star. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Philadelphia shouldn't just tank, man. Let the bottom fall out of this thing. Because the way I see it is, you were running Tyrese Maxey. From what I understood, they were overplaying Tyrese Maxey when he was out there this week. and it led to the injury, they believe. So basically, you losing with Tyrese Maxey playing a heavy dose of minutes. No Joel, which you expect to miss any damn way. And Paul George, who's in and out of the lineup naturally. What you're going to find out, Philadelphia, is you ain't going to keep that guy. He don't play more than probably 50 games a season. So it ain't going to be hard to tank. And I was listening to in that podcast, he was essentially saying he doesn't believe they're in a space to tank. I guess in his mind, they equated tanking to trading away everything. No, they ain't. No. That's not required to tank. That's not required to tank at all. Everyone just has to agree we're not going to win very much and then proceed to not win basketball games. JoJo's helping with that, with his unwillingness to play and already missing an eighth of the season. You know what I mean? Already missing an eighth of the season with more injuries to come. So you're not going to win a lot of games there. Paul George, like I just said, he ain't going to play more than 50 games a season. You get 50 games out of him, you feel great. That's why giving him that big contract was just stupid. Really stupid. But, he's going to sit a lot just naturally. And then Tyrese Maxey, if you can't win with him any damn way, then you're already tanking. You're already there. You're 1-7, 1-6, rather. And the Lakers are going to be a team that's hoping to bounce back against your very, very lowly squad. You're going to continue to lose. All you got to do is just commit to it. If you have your pick, which you didn't say nothing about not having his own pick. They didn't mention nothing about not having their own pick. I didn't do any homework on that, but it sounded like they could tank if they wanted to. If they have their own pick for this upcoming season, I'm tanking. If I'm Daryl Morey, I'm tanking. I'm tanking. Because even if I swing for the moon and I don't land amongst the stars, so to speak, even if I get like a Detroit 5, I call it a Detroit 5 because every year the Detroit Pistons get the 5th overall pick no matter how bad they tank. Even a Detroit 5 in this draft is really good for a team like Philadelphia that already has a trio of stars. You just need a high-level rookie to come in and either be tradable enough to get you more talent or somebody that can help you going forward. You know what I mean? But you want that pick to be valuable as hell. And trying to do a valiant effort at winning basketball games when you got all these problems that they got, that doesn't help you as much as that pick is going to help you on a rookie contract if it turns out to be a very good player. Especially since you're stuck to Paul George's contract for the next 5 years. That contract is going to be ass. Like, completely. We're talking, horrible as he continues to age and it continues to increase in value. So the best thing for your franchise is to have a guy like Cooper Flagg mirroring that contract with a rookie salary so he can give you the production potentially that you're paying for in Paul George while Paul gives you whatever he gives you for the rest of his career. You know what I mean? That's what a team needs when you have a horrible contract. You need a rookie contract that's playing like an all-star. So if you can potentially get that by tanking this season, then you need to do that. You need to do that. And so for me, it's like, I'm not trading away anything. I can't trade I'm not trading any of this stuff away because, quite honestly, I can't get a good return on a lot of this stuff. Obviously, if I want to trade Tyrese Maxey, I can get a great return on him. But, that's not even, as I already mentioned, that's not necessary at all. For any reason should they be considering anything like that. Tyrese Maxey is a young star, so if you have to rebuild, you're rebuilding with him as your best piece. You don't move him in a sense of trying to turn your situation around and going young. He is young. He's young. So you definitely keep Tyrese Maxey even if you bottom out. And like I said, JoJo believes that the Sixers is his. Literally. So I don't think, if he hasn't demanded a trade throughout the Ben Simmons situation, the James Harden situation, I don't think he's going nowhere right now. Especially when the intention is for him to stay with them for his whole career. If he wants to be with them for his whole career, this is probably what's best for the future of that franchise. Right here is making sure that you secure a top 5 pick in this draft. That's what's going to give you the best path in a Sixer uniform over the next several years. Because if you think Paul George is going to do anything for you on that contract, you're going to have a hard time getting talent on your team. slapped next to you, him, and Tyrese, you know, you got a 3-star lineup. And this is year 1 of most of those contracts. So, like, if I'm strategizing the Philadelphia situation, we about to bottom out, baby. You let me GM that team. I'm not moving nothing. I'm just going to keep running out there, and anytime anybody rolls an ankle, they're out for a month. Joel Embiid, we're not only going to sit you in back-to-backs, we're sitting you for both of those games. Every back-to-back. You ain't never playing. And Tyrese Maxey, just go out there and get your numbers, bro. Go out there and get your numbers. And I would encourage them to scale back on some of his minutes, since this is getting him in these situations in the first place, playing him 40 minutes a game. Maybe shouldn't be a good idea for him, even though he can probably do it. On a tanking team, nah, he just get his regular minutes, get him his 32 minutes a game, whatever it is, and it's sit him out, and the rest of your team is not going to be good enough to win any damn way, and you're tanking. And let the losses ensue. And look, you don't have to be the worst team in the world to secure a very good pick, because they've made it so that doesn't necessarily work anyway. So if you're worried about not being the worst team in the league, that's not the team that's probably going to get the first overall pick anyway. You can afford to win 22 games and still land where you want to land. You can afford to win probably 30 games and possibly land where you want to land. You know what I mean? So for those who are saying we're too good to tank, even if we tried, you don't have to be as bad as Utah is trying to be this year. You don't have to be as bad as Portland may potentially want to be this year. You just got to land amongst the bottom of your conference, and you're going to get that top 5 pick. Or at least give yourself the best odds to do it. So that's why I think Philadelphia should really consider tanking. It may not work, man. You know what I mean? It's weird, you know, to reiterate the exact same point, you could be a team that gets a bad pick despite being the worst team. So that means that your odds of getting the best pick are not necessarily mirroring the potential of your ineptitude. You just have to miss the play-in tournament to secure, or lose in the play-in tournament to secure that you have a lottery pick. But I think for Philadelphia to make this worth it, you hope to get a top 5 pick. You want to get it within that Detroit 5. So, and even if you don't get Ace Bailey or whatever, for your timeline, you still want a valuable pick. You know, you want the pick to be valuable. So, and let's say you don't get Cooper or Ace. For your timeline, that don't mean nothing to you. You can turn around and trade that pick for a more win now talent piece. You turn around and trade that pick for more equity that can help you further down the line in the future if you care to trade the pick. You know, there's a lot of different things you can do with a high value pick, but the most important thing will be there is a much more valuable pick than what you have in your war chest right now, which can offset the bad contracts that you're sitting on. That's really the idea. Whatever you decide to do with that pick, or whether or not it becomes the best pick in the draft or maybe a 5th pick in the draft, that's irrelevant for your timeline, because you can just turn around and flip it. You could take a contract that's not so great on your books and attach that pick to that contract and maybe be able to rid yourself of something you want to get rid of, if it comes to that. If you decide you want to move Paul George, you can attach that top 3 pick to Paul George and get the thing off your books if it becomes a situation where you see the fruit in doing that. I hate to see that myself if I'm a Philadelphia Sixers fan, but if I'm a GM, the value of the pick gives me options I don't have right now. Gives me a plethora of value that's coming out of nothing. So, yeah, I think they should do it. I think they should let this thing bottom out. If JoJo want to sit these games and tell the whole world that he wants to sit games, well, we're going to give him a real reason to do that. That's how I feel about it. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm kind of sick of Joel's attitude about things any damn way. You ain't got us far enough to be telling everybody all that you've done for the city of Philadelphia. What have you done for the city of Philadelphia? They gave you an absorbent amount of money. You gave them everything your body could give them. But as far as you being somebody that should be saying they owe you something, or that you've done so much that they should give you, put up with your bull crap, nah, bro, that's not real. That's not real. And that's what I'm saying about Joel. I think he needs to understand that you're not entitled to anything, bro. They pay you the money that your value is worth. That's the give and take. It's an exchange, bro. If you ain't showing up, playing at a certain level, don't expect people to kiss your feet. Don't expect people to think that you're supposed to be just giving everything you want just because you've been there for a couple years. They ain't won no championship off you. They ain't even got out of the second round. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they were sitting around waiting on you. And maybe the organization owes you as it pertains to how much they've ruined around you, which I can make an argument for with that Ben Simmons and James Harden debacle. But as far as saying to the city, like, you know, they need to just put up with you sitting out or whatever it is, nah, nobody owes you that, man. Nobody owes you that. If you were taking a massive pay cut, then that makes sense. But that you're not taking no massive pay cut, nah, that don't make no damn sense. For everything that you believe you're owed, you're being paid in the dollar form and contract security. So that's what I want to say to Joel. I didn't like how he came off in that when he said that. And it's all that I've done for the city. What have you done for the city? When people say stuff like that, they've usually won championships for the city. Shaq used to say stuff like that. What I've done for the organ, what I've done for the city. Because he was giving back. He was giving us championships and he was going into the hood, dropping off toys every holiday. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like actually doing. So that's what I gotta say. I don't know, man. The energy was entitlement. And while I'm not the rah, I'm sick of these entitled superstars conversationalists, that's not my attitude. When it comes to certain people saying certain things, they better back that stuff up with winning. You better back that up with winning. Because it come off to me as not only entitled, but it's as if you're mimicking somebody who's done enough to say what you're saying and you don't realize that you haven't done enough to have that attitude. That's what that come off as. Like I remember when people like Kobe would say stuff like that or Shaq would say stuff like that. I'm the MVP. I got a gold medal. Like, nah, you ain't did none of the stuff them people did, bro. You ain't did none of that stuff them people did. Let's just be real. The MVP trophy came your way because Jokic bowed away. He bowed away. He said, yo, give it to him. If he would have played the rest of the season for which he was healthy enough to do, that MVP trophy go to him. That USA team, if I'm being real, he didn't look that great on that team. He didn't look that great on that team. And quite honestly, the man is not American. So that right there was a little weird. That was a little weird to me. I respected it. I appreciated that he represented this country. But that dude is from Cameroon. It would have hit different if he won it with Cameroon, but he knew he couldn't. So he signed up with us. So it's like, yo, bro, I don't know about Joel, man. His energy sometimes and the stuff the way he come off to me sometimes, I don't think I would be putting up with that stuff because that team just keep getting kicked out of the second round. His body don't hold up. You're waiting on him all the damn time, and now he want to come out and say, oh, I don't play back-to-backs. Like, what the hell have you done to have it so that you can say any of this? Like, seriously. When you got to Philadelphia, they had to wait almost a whole season just to get you on the floor after drafting you first overall. They couldn't even play you for a whole year. And then they had to baby you for like 4 years just to get you healthy enough to actually play the level of ball that you play. Only for that to last about 2 years or 3 years, no championship, and now we're back to the same space we ever were back then. And you walk around like you did a Magic Johnson worth of winning. You understand what I'm saying? Having stuff come out of his mouth that you probably hear from people like LeBron and Michael. Like, nah, bro, you ain't none of that. None of that. None of that. And it needs to be said, man. It needs to be said because he got the attitude of like he's just changed the game and like everybody's just done him so wrong. And I don't know, man. I don't know. With Joel, it's just like, nah, bro. Nah. Not at all. That ain't not your status. You have won an MVP. You got a gold medal. But your team ain't never where it needs to be for the expectations that you have for that team. Every year, y'all lowering your expectations for yourselves. You didn't play with a lot of different players, some of which were really good, some were, afraid to shoot the ball, whatever the case. Now, I know y'all been through a lot. More than most, for sure. But the attitude, man, got to reel back. Reel back, man. You should be ready to give more, not take. That's my attitude with him. You ain't done enough to be demanding all this. I don't hear Anthony Davis talking like that, and he's been in a similar boat to where our Lakers have had stuff go wrong around him, prioritize people above him. You know what I'm saying? Playing through injury, and ain't got a backup center yet. Joel Embiid has taken all of Anthony Davis's backup centers years and years in a row. Every time we have a backup center, Philadelphia signs him right afterward. This happened like 3 times in a row. Anthony Davis, Mo Bamba, Andre Drummond. Every time we have a backup center, this fool come and get it. Anthony Davis ain't got a backup center because y'all keep poaching him from us. I don't never hear none of that crap out of Anthony Davis. And he got a championship on his belt. He got a whole championship on his belt. I don't never hear none of that out of him. So for me, it's like, yo, man, I don't like that energy from Joel. I don't mess with that. I think Joel can be funny. He real funny on Twitter and all that. That's cool. But some of the entitlement, nah, bro. Nah. Reel that back in. Do some damn winning. Make it through a season to the best of your ability. And stop chasing individual accolades and entitlement packages from people, man. That MVP meant a lot to you. But even that was like riddled in entitlement and selfishness. Like it really was. It was riddled in it. I want the MVP. I deserve. What about your squad? What do they deserve? What about them fans over there? What do they deserve, bro? So that's what I gotta say to him, man. And look, I ain't no Philly fan. Y'all know I'm a Laker fan. I ain't got no ties to Philadelphia. I'm watching from afar. So a lot of details I may not be privy to. But I've been holding this thing for a while. I've had this channel for years, and I've been thinking like this for a little bit about Joel, some of his smug behaviors and attitudes. It just rubbed me the wrong way. While other people have other players that rubbed them the wrong way, when it comes to Joel, I'm like, bro, I'm not feeling this guy, man. How he get down on certain things. Nah, man. Give more. Don't tell a franchise that you want to pay for tickets to every game that you only gonna play certain games. If your body holds up better for not doing that, then there's a way to convey that without putting a magnifying glass on your franchise. Telling everybody you refuse to play back-to-backs for the rest of your career, and that ain't investigating your team. Nah, bro. Nah. And while he's been vocal about certain things, I don't think he's been very vocal enough about other things, which is also something that I don't really like. That Ben Simmons thing, he should have been more vocal about that. What went wrong with Jimmy Butler? How the hell did y'all end up taking Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler? You weren't vocal enough about making sure that didn't happen? That James Harden situation, I didn't hear a peep out of Joel Embiid in regards to making that situation better. He always took the high road and let the Philadelphia 76ers tank the squad around him. I guess it was cool because he was getting his numbers. I guess it was cool because then the pressure wasn't on him to deliver a damn championship. It was on them. You see what I'm saying? To put a team around him that could help him do it. And since they were so bad at doing that, they didn't seem to have a problem with things going on around him. That's what it seemed like from afar. So I don't know, Philly fans. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, maybe I'm out of turn. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe a lot of y'all feel very differently about Joel. That's your star. He's on a Lafitte team, all this. He's going to get one of them statues one day for certain, one of them little mini statues that y'all put up. Hey, that's cool, man. If that's what it is, that's what it is. But for me as a Laker fan who won NBA championships in my lifetime, I don't respect none of that energy. It sounds like he's trying to pretend like he's accomplished things that people who are much more humble than him have accomplished. Like he's done more than he has done. And that people are supposed to bow at the altar of Embiid while he chases whatever his own personal goals are. That's what it seemed like to me. Big head type stuff. And I don't know if he's done enough winning to make me respect it. In fact, I know he has not. So that's my perspective. BDO 44, thank y'all for watching. I'm out.